It's time for the Splash Live from Civic Center TV, featuring stories from and about people like you in the greater West Bloomfield area. Simulcast on cable, 89.3 Lakes FM, social media, and the web. Now live from Green Media Center on Walnut Lake Road, it's the Splash Live.
Live, local, social, it's the Splash Live on Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM. I'm your host, Jake Schaff, bringing you all the biggest stories from all around the West Bloomfield area. Starting off with one of the biggest news stories coming out, a final walk through a very beloved school. The West Bloomfield School District is going to be inviting all of you to walk the halls one last time at Chico Elementary. That's going to be Monday, October 7th at 5 p.m. and that's at 4500 Walnut Lake Road, right outside our building. And it's going to be the last walkthrough of the school, and it's going to be, as you know, very soon, the current Chico building will be torn down to make way for a brand new building. And of course, the students attending Chico right now are currently using the old Abbott building, which they will be using until 2026. So this is going to be the last chance for a lot of people to take a quick trip down memory lane, walk through the halls, and this is open for current students and maybe old students who haven't been to the school in a very long time. A nice way to take a trip and take a nice look through all those past memories and to just reminisce on so many fun times from when they were a kid. As soon a new building will be put into place, opening up the chance for even more memories for the future. If you want to learn more about this event, you can find out more info at wbsd.org or go to Facebook at West Bloomfield Schools to find out more information. But moving on from a trip down memory lane at the school to talking about memories and history all throughout our four communities, because the Greater West Bloomfield Historical Society is currently looking for a new museum open house host. If you are 18 years and older and interested in sharing local history with the community, this is the perfect opportunity for you. The time commitment is only 3 hours a month, and training is going to be provided before letting you host on your own. They encourage guests to look at the literature display, sign up for the Greater West Bloomfield Historical Society e-blast, and to become a member of the organization. So if you're someone out there who has an interest in history and loves to talk about it and loves to share it with the community, then this is going to be right up your alley. This is perfect. This sounds like so much fun and a great chance to get out, enjoy the community a little bit more, maybe bond with some other community members, and to just connect and share that love of history all throughout the four communities. You can contact Anna at gwbhs.org or call 248-757-2451 if you have any questions or if this is an opportunity that you are interested in. So make sure you contact Anna or give the phone number a call if you're interested in this position. But moving on from talking about local history to talking about something big, broad, and a big spectacle like Broadway. The Friends of the West Bloomfield Library's Talkin' Broadway event is going to be taking place September 22nd, this Sunday, from 2 to 4 p.m. and will feature the musical Cabaret. Please join everybody for some talking, some singing, and lots of fun when Michigan Stage Artistic Director Tim Perret and Liz Lombard lead the discussion and provide incredible musical entertainment. Talkin' Broadway is sponsored by the Friends of the West Bloomfield Township Library and is open to the public. No need to pay, no need to sign up. You just walk in and you enter right inside, right into the conversation. And this sounds like so much fun. I love Broadway. It takes me back to my times at high school theater back at Stevenson. And this is just going to be so much fun for a lot of people, especially people who have such an interest in Broadway that are looking for more connections and more people to share this interest with. And if you're a fan of Cabaret, then I mean, this is going to be perfect. So once again, that is going to be September 22nd, this Sunday from 2 to 4 p.m. No registration required. And if you are looking for more information, you can go to wblib.org to find out some more info. But a great spectacle with the West Bloomfield Library, and there's going to be even bigger events coming up with the West Bloomfield Fire Department, because this month is Fire Prevention Month. Fire Prevention Month is on its way. I apologize, which means so is the West Bloomfield Fire Department Open House. That is going to be Sunday, October 13th from 12 noon to 3 p.m. That's going to be at Fire Station number 1 on Orchard Lake Road, which is just north of West Bloomfield High School. Free parking is provided by West Bloomfield High School, and there will be a shuttle to the station provided by West Bloomfield Parks. And this event is going to be great. There's going to be info on fire prevention in the home, fire safety tips, healthcare info, and even flu shots from Alana's Foundation. Of course, they're going to be having their event on October 7th, but they will also be providing details on the 13th at this open house. So this is going to be just a great opportunity to get out, enjoy the community a little bit, get to know your local fire officers, your local firefighters, and a chance to learn some valuable information about how to keep your home safe. More information on this event is going to be available at Facebook at WB Fire Department. And once again, this event is October 13th, Sunday, from 12 noon to 3 p.m. So lots of very exciting events coming up within the next few weeks, especially as summer quickly turns into fall. But one of the biggest events that everyone in the community is looking forward to is the return of the Jan Hayes Pumpkin Patch, which is going to be right at the Sylvan Lake Community Center on October 6th, which is an incredible opportunity for families to come out, have some fun, great food, great events, and to really help celebrate the fall season. And here to join us right now on the Splash Live, we have the woman herself, Jan Hayes, the owner of JH Homes, joined by Melissa Walters, the executive assistant of JH Homes. Thank you both so much for joining us today. And I want to get into the origins of an event like this. How did this yearly pumpkin patch come to be?
Well, it started, I've been a resident of Sylvan Lake for 37 years, and I hate to say I've been a realtor for 40 years. And when I first joined the community here, I started doing events throughout the community to just really give back and say thanks to all the neighborhood people and family and friends and kids for always supporting me year after year. And this is actually our 17th annual, and it started on a vacant lot and soon began to grow so large that we now lease the community center every single year and have anywhere from 300 to, I think our most attendance was 500 people. And it started just, again, as a way to give something different for the kids and to say thank you.
Wow, and that's great that you put in all this work to give back to the community, and it's great to hear how much this event has grown over the years. And what has it been like to witness this event grow throughout these 17 years?
It's amazing, really, to see not only the people attending, but the help of the neighborhood that goes in. It starts at 6:30 a.m. and we have the pumpkins delivered, and it's generally about 2 tons of pumpkins. And I have volunteers, adults and children, that will come and help unload the pumpkins. We actually create the patch where the kids can go through. Each person who attends the event is able to take a pumpkin home with them. We also hired the neighborhood children year after year to man the event. We have face painting, and we get long lines for that. That's a personal favorite of a lot. We've had bounce houses. We have pumpkin decorating. We have costume contests. So it's really, to see it grow is amazing. Pretty soon we're thinking, how are we going to be able to handle it, though? And, because it is for the whole community, and we do have approximately 810 homes here.
Wow, that is amazing. So many fun things to hear. I mean, I think it would be blasphemous to show up there and to not enjoy pumpkins. I mean, you gotta enjoy pumpkins. And Melissa, I want to hear from you a little bit. What are some of your favorite parts of an event like this?
Seeing everybody come in there and enjoying all the kids' smiling faces, talking with all of our previous clients and everything like that.
And this year, so also we have some new events. We try to turn it up every year. And this year we have something where we're having a person bring in live bugs. And it's an education program where she actually will display the bugs. Some people are, depending on, she said, the bug itself, she lets the children hold them, and she'll come in and give, it's called Bugs on Wheels. And she does events at local places and things like that. So that's a new event for this year.
Awesome. Even when you come out to the pumpkin patch, you can learn a thing or two. That's great. For those just joining us, we have Jan Hayes and Melissa Walters from JH Homes joining us on the Splash to talk about the annual Jan Hayes Pumpkin Patch event that's going to be coming up first week of October at the Sylvan Lake Community Center. Now, I want to know a little more about the community's response to an event like this. How do they react to something like this? Is it something that they look forward to every single year?
Absolutely. I would say it's the biggest event in Sylvan Lake. And again, like saying, we try to do a lot of different things. I think a lot of the children, especially, the parents may not be as thankful of this, but we have a giant pumpkin delivered. And when I say giant, it's, a couple 100 pounds, and it requires a front loader to take it to whatever recipient wins. Everybody who enters, we ask them to register. They are given a ticket, and at usually toward the end, the event goes from 12 to 4. We do a drawing, and every year the Great Pumpkin has become a big hit. And you hear the children throughout the year talking about it. And when's the Great Pumpkin coming? And I hope we get it this year. So I think the community has always stood behind us. And as I said, to see it grow like it has, and the neighbors who call a week ahead of time saying, what can we do to help set up? And where do you need us to help this year?
I can already hear in my head the children reacting to this, almost like Linus from Charlie Brown, like, there it is! It's the Great Pumpkin out of the pumpkin patch! Like, that sounds so much fun. And to have everyone out there celebrating the fall season and to really, that sense of unity, do you think that this helps to bring in the fall season as it is at the start of October and helps kind of kickstart that excitement to Halloween and Thanksgiving and all those other events?
Absolutely. And we used to do it later in the year, in the month. We used to do it like the third week of October. But what we found that the weather isn't always as cooperative. It's cold sometimes. This way, a lot of the kids can dress up. But absolutely. And that's why we started doing it early, so people knew they could get their pumpkins ahead of time. And when it was later, we saw that some people often really had them already. So yeah, I think it does kick it off. And also because we do serve the cider and donuts, that makes the fall, season jumpstart for sure. And we're already starting to see some leaves changing here. I'm looking at the lake right now. We've got some leaves changing pretty quickly.
That's right, that fall beauty making its way to Sylvan Lake everywhere you look. Once again, Jan Hayes and Melissa Walters from JH Homes joining us on the Splash Live to talk about the Jan Hayes Pumpkin Patch event. And I want to just ask you, how does it feel for both of you? How does it feel to give back to the community in this really fun way?
It's great. I mean, it really is something that has been a staple of my business here in Sylvan Lake. We do other events throughout the year also, but this definitely is the biggest one and gives us the most joy.
Awesome. Glad to hear about all this exciting news. Thank you both so much for your time today. Just one more question before we let you go. Where can people go to get a little more information on this event?
Actually, if you go to the Jan Hayes Homes website, social media, Facebook, Melissa is in charge of all of that, and she does a great job with posting. And actually, speaking of the Great Pumpkin, the post just came out yesterday with the countdown till the Great Pumpkin arrives. So it's basically on social media. We do a invitation to the neighborhood about 10 days before, just to remind people that it's coming. We do a big postcard on that postcard are pictures from our previous events and things like that. So, but that's probably the best place, is either the Jan Hayes Homes website or Facebook.
You heard it here first. Be on the lookout on social media. That clock is ticking, and the Great Pumpkin is going to be making its way to Sylvan Lake before you know it. Jan, Melissa, thank you both so much for your time today. Glad to have you both on the program.
Thank you for having us.
Everywhere you look, the leaves start to change, the weather starts to get a little bit colder. It's just more and more reminders that the fall season is on its way, and that also means the pumpkin patch is almost ready to arrive here in Sylvan Lake. Once again, this event is going to be on October 6th, Sunday, October 6th, at the Sylvan Lake Community Center. And I want to thank Jan Hayes and Melissa Walters from JH Homes once again for their time in talking about this very exciting event. But September is not over just yet. And as it is still September, that means it's also still National Recovery Month, aimed at helping people in our community and beyond affected by substance use disorders. This week, Tyler Kieft had a great opportunity to talk with Pepper Cat from the Alliance of Coalitions for Healthy Communities, which is helping to lead the charge for resources on treatment, education, and prevention in Greater West Bloomfield. Let's take a look.
Thank you so much for being with us today.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
Glad to have you on as we recognize National Recovery Month, which is a really important time of the year where we think about all the different elements that go into that recovery for those that are afflicted with substance use or misuse or addiction, however it is verbalized in our community. Just how much of an effort goes into helping these individuals find these resources and then ultimately help them maintain their recovery over time?
Yeah, we're learning it's a real team effort. We don't just want the resources coming from one place. We need the whole community in on it to make sure that people aren't falling through the cracks, make sure that whether they're at a doctor's office or a treatment center, or maybe they had some type of run-in with law enforcement, that those resources are available to them and that we're all working together.
And the Alliance of Coalitions for Healthy Communities, otherwise known more simply by shorthand in our community as the Alliance, they do a lot of that groundwork all throughout the year. What are some of the ways that you do get out on the ground in communities like ours and beyond in our local area to help people who are facing these issues?
Yeah, we're actually a really cool coalition. So it's the Alliance of Coalitions for Healthy Communities. It is a long title there. We're kind of like an umbrella coalition. So we work with coalitions in cities throughout our county. And what we do is we come out and we do prevention, we do wellness, we do recovery support. So we're going into schools, we're going into nursing and retirement homes. We're trying to educate people before they fall into a substance or alcohol use pattern. We're also going into treatment centers and hospitals. We have Save a Life stations, which distribute free naloxone to the county. We do Narcan, naloxone trainings. We're really just trying to break the stigma and get the word out there.
And Pepper Cat is with us from the Alliance of Coalitions for Healthy Communities, one of their peer navigators on today's edition of the Splash Live. And as we talk about these resources and these intervention opportunities that are available through the Alliance and through all these coalitions in our communities, people from the outside looking in may question, how much do these actually work? And you have a unique perspective on that because you've seen firsthand how these programs can help people. What are some examples of ways that these resources have helped people with substance use disorders right here in Greater West Bloomfield and beyond?
Yeah, so one of the coolest things we're doing is the Alliance partners with the Oakland County Sheriff's Office. We're part of the Crisis Response Unit, which is coming up on almost 2 years old now. So we work with law enforcement. We are crisis intervention trained. We're trained in harm reduction. And we work hand in hand with law enforcement to make contact with people in the community that have maybe overdosed or ended up in the hospital due to drugs or alcohol. And then we meet them where they're at, which means we introduce them to resources. We talk to them about recovery. We talk to them about assistance that's out there. We really see what their needs are and where we can help them with that. The Crisis Response Unit deals with substance use and mental health. So we make sure that they're connected with the proper therapists and doctors. Like I said, the treatment, make sure treatment centers are easily available. Help them with the process if they need help accessing their insurance or getting into centers. So we do a full, circle of trying to make sure all needs are met, whether it's housing, transportation, mental health, addiction.
And luckily nowadays we're more aware of some of the problems or outside issues that ultimately can lead people into these substance use disorders or these issues where they have to seek this sort of recovery. I recently had an operation where for pain afterward they had prescribed me some opiates, and they gave a full-fledged education about how to take them, how to store them, what to do with them when you're ultimately done and no longer in need of them. And that education is really important, but also having additional resources throughout our community so that people are aware of what they can do to help intervene and possibly save a life. And here in Greater West Bloomfield, we are a part of that unique opportunity, along with the Alliance of Coalitions and some of those resources you talked about earlier, to have some of those provisions in place in a variety of different areas across our community, both on education and things that help them take action. Can you give us a little bit of insight on what those resources are and where people may find them throughout our communities?
Yeah, so in West Bloomfield alone, we have 10 Save a Life stations. A Save a Life station is it's a big box. It's free. You can open it up, and then inside that we have naloxone. So you can take naloxone for free. We also have resource cards in there. We have fentanyl and xylazine testing strips in some of the locations to help keep people safe and know what they're ingesting. But the naloxone is what I really believe is, helping the community. We had a 3% decrease in overdose fatalities this past year. And this next year, we're hoping that number is even bigger. Naloxone is really easy to use. It's a nasal spray. It's a opiate reversal medication. So getting the education out there, teaching people how to administer it, making sure people know it's okay to carry around. It's a very safe medication. And I think that's one of the main reasons that we're saving lives out there, and we're starting to see a change. And so many people I talk to, their addiction started with a prescription from their doctor. So I'm glad to hear that they're educating people now and, trying to educate and get on that end too before they come into needing services from someone like me.
Yeah, and kind of having that across the board education and those across the board resources in place to help both on prevention and on intervention, and in between, those bystanders playing a key role that could potentially save lives in our community. We're joined by Pepper Cat, who is a peer navigator at the Alliance of Coalitions for Healthy Communities. You can find more information on their resources, including the locations of those Save a Life boxes in West Bloomfield, across Greater West Bloomfield, and around southeastern Michigan, achcmi.org or alliancemi.org. You can also find them on both Facebook and on Instagram at Alliance of Coalitions. And Pepper, you mentioned earlier on some partnerships with the Oakland County Sheriff's Office to help in prevention and intervention. Overall, across the board, as you partner with law enforcement on prevention and ultimately intervening when someone who's experiencing an overdose is either apprehended or is encountered by law enforcement during an emergency stop, with first responders. How does that factor into preventing people from either entering into further addiction issues or getting them the treatment that they need without that fear that they're going to be punished by coming forth to people in our community and seeking these resources?
Yeah, I think that the crisis response unit, our connection with them, us, people with lived experience working with law enforcement, I think that's changing the stigma in the county for sure. Like I mentioned, the law enforcement officers that we work with and us with the lived experience, we're all trained in crisis intervention, de-escalation tactics, motivational interviewing. What we're really wanting to do is to let people know that law enforcement are humans that are trying to do their job, and us in recovery, we're also humans that have been stuck in a cycle, of self-medication, usually because we can't deal with some type of pain in our life. So this partnership, working together, introducing the people in the community to law enforcement with no intention of any type of, criminal justice type actions, just really wanting to help, really wanting to support. changing the dynamics so that everyone knows that this is a mental health crisis. Addiction has touched all of us. I don't think I know anyone that hasn't been affected by addiction or some type of mental health crisis. So just all coming together and working hand in hand is going to change the way that we look at people that are using substances to make themselves feel better.
As we recognize National Recovery Month, important to know where these resources are available for you and yours in their community, or even others that you may encounter that perhaps have some of these issues in their lives and could use some of these resources and these connections to help resolve those issues or to intervene during September and beyond. Pepper Cat is with us from the Alliance of Coalitions for Healthy Communities on today's edition of the Splash Live. More information on the resources and services at alliancemi.org. Pepper, finally, before I let you go, I do want to touch on this because Michigan's been part of an opioid settlement from the drug companies where they're set to receive $1.6 billion in a national settlement that's yet to be fully allocated to local communities, but we know that those resources are coming. How do you believe that's also going to play a factor in local alliances and other organizations, along with public and government organizations, ultimately being able to ramp up these prevention and intervention efforts across our local area?
I mean, I really hope that it is put to transportation and housing. I know the housing crisis is just getting worse. We're going to have a lot of people that need somewhere to go. You know, that's one of the main things with mental health and substance use. If you don't have a place to lay your head at night, that adds, a instability that really hinders your life. It makes it really hard to break that cycle. So I'm really hoping to see more transportation, more affordable housing, and then more programs that we can do warm handoffs. So basically working together in the community. So say someone's at their doctor and they need to go to a psychiatrist, instead of just handing them a referral, there's some type of peer navigator to help them make that appointment, to actually follow through and to get that next appointment so that people aren't getting lost in the process.
More information and resources available on alliancemi.org, or you can follow them on Facebook and on Instagram at Alliance of Coalitions. Pepper, before we let you go, if people are in need of some of these different communications or of these resources for intervention in our community, they want to reach out, what's the best way for them to do that from either the Alliance of Coalitions or their local coalition?
So you can definitely go to our website, alliancemi.org. All of our contact information, everybody at the company is on the website. We could also connect with your local coalition if that's something that you would like. All the Save a Life stations have resource packs in them. And then the Crisis Response Unit now has a 24-hour number, too, that I can give you 24 hours a day if someone is in a crisis. They can call this number. It's 248-463-5111. Again, that's a new 24-hour number we have here in Oakland County for the Crisis Response Unit, and they can reach us that way too if they can't find us on the website.
One more time, 248-463-5111 is that crisis phone number. Pepper, thank you so much for your time today.
Thanks so much for having me.
Lots of great information for those who are looking to gain some insight on situations like these, especially if they know somebody who is struggling with drug addiction. So big thank you to Pepper Cat, the Alliance of Coalitions, and to Tyler Keefe for that great interview. And we've got even bigger stories coming up right after the break, so stay with us.
We'll be right back with the Splash Live. Watch West Bloomfield Lakers football all season long on 89.3 Lakes FM and Civic Center TV. Join Tyler Keefe and Matt Catoni each week for live, in-depth, and exclusive coverage before, during, and after the big game. It's your local high school football team on the road and in your backyard on your home for West Bloomfield Laker football, Civic Center TV, and 89.3 Lakes FM.
Hi, I'm Kelly Heyer, Executive Director for West Bloomfield Parks. Congratulations, Civic Center TV, on 1 million views on YouTube. I just want to take a moment to say thank you, Civic Center TV, for your amazing coverage, always making sure our parks and facilities and our programs shine. I'm Kelly Heyer, proud to be one in a million.
Missed one of our live broadcasts or one of your local municipal meetings? Check it out online at civiccentertv.com. Every meeting, show, and interview on demand. Thank you for watching and listening to Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM. And now, back to The Splash, live.
Live, local, social, it's The Splash Live on Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM. I'm your host, Jake Schaff, going over a lot of the big events coming up right here in the West Bloomfield area. Now, before the break, we were talking about how all throughout this month, stuff is being done around the community to keep residents healthy and informed, and that is going to continue tomorrow, Friday, September 20th, with the West Bloomfield Police Department, as they are partnering up with WB Parks and the American Red Cross for a blood drive at the Connect Senior Center from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. And this is all being done to honor the memory of Sergeant Patrick O'Rourke, a fallen officer who was shot and killed in the line of duty back in 2012. But this event is being done to reach out to the community and to hopefully keep everyone happy and healthy. And here to join us on the Splash Live to tell us more about this event, we have Community Relations Officer with the West Bloomfield Police Department, Zena Daly. Zena, thank you so much for joining us today on the Splash Live.
Hi, thank you so much for having me on. I'm excited to talk about this event.
That's right. Great event coming up. And I want to know what else can you tell us about this blood drive coming up tomorrow?
Well, like you said, so it's from 10 to 4 p.m. The American Red Cross is hosting it in memory of Sergeant O'Rourke, who was killed in line of duty. They'll be on 14 and Farmington in the Simsbury Plaza at the Connect Senior Center. And that information is also on our Facebook page. But yeah, there's plenty of spots to sign up. So if you can get online and sign up, the redcrossblood.org. And then there's also a 1-800 number if you can't get online, 1-800-733-2767.
That's great that the police department is reaching out and putting together an event like this for the community. And can you just talk about how an event like this blood drive, is important to the community?
So we're hoping that this blood drive helps keep Sergeant O'Rourke's memory alive. It reminds us that.
Okay, it looks like we might be having a couple of technical difficulties with Zena. Oh, I think we might have them fixed. All right, no worries.
Back? Okay.
Yeah, everything's good, Zena. Let's just start the question again. Talk about how an event like this is important to the community of West Bloomfield.
So I was just saying we want to keep Sergeant O'Rourke's memory alive. What you do today is not it makes a difference because tomorrow is not promised to you. And you can literally help even one person's life how that would make you feel. At least one person, how that makes them feel. So it's huge. 11 years ago, Sergeant O'Rourke was killed in line of duty and survived by his wife, Amy, their 4 kids, Eileen, Mary, Andrea, and Stephen. And they're his legacy, and we want them to know that he's not forgotten here. And we just want to keep that legacy alive for him and for them.
Yes, and it's great to see the work that you're doing to help keep Sergeant O'Rourke's legacy alive. Once again, Zena Daly, the Community Relations Officer with the West Bloomfield Police Department, is joining us today on the Splash Live to talk about the upcoming Patrick O'Rourke blood drive taking place at the Connect Senior Center on September 20th. Now go into Sergeant Patrick O'Rourke just a little bit more and talk about just how important it is to honor his legacy in this way.
Sergeant O'Rourke dedicated more than 12 years of his life to the people of this township. In 1997, he was hired on as a cadet, which we now call PSAs, and the department put him through the Schoolcraft Police Academy in 2000. During his service, he spent 5 years in the undercover unit before coming back out and going to the afternoon shift, which was actually his preferred shift. He was a devoted Catholic. His faith meant everything to him, and it shaped him as a person, an officer, a friend, as a father and husband. People of this department, before we even had a peer support team, he was the peer support team on his own. That was years ago. And people would turn to him when they just needed to talk, and he would listen without judgment. he was gentle and optimistic, and he gave that same attention to the people of this township. Him and I actually worked here together for about 4 years, and it's unfortunate because I did not get to know him. When I first got hired on, he was in the undercover unit, so I never really crossed paths with him. And then when he did come back to the road, I worked midnight shift. He was on the afternoon shift. Once again, we never crossed paths. So it's sad for me because I hear so many good things about him. He's one of those people that no one has a bad thing to say about him, and I did not get to know him the way so many did.
Well, it sounds like Sergeant O'Rourke brought so much to this community, and it's great that he's being honored in this way. What would you say, from what you've heard about Sergeant O'Rourke and from what you've witnessed, what would you say is the biggest thing he brought to this community?
Because of his faith and the role that played in his life, I would say that impacted his decision-making and the way he talked to people when he dealt with the citizens.
That's fantastic. And I want to go back into the blood drive just a little bit more, because just a little bit of effort can go a long way. And how can people really make a difference in this way?
Well, so according to the New York Blood Center, every 2 seconds, someone in the U.S. needs a blood transfusion. So it's as simple as, going online, the redcrossblood.org, and registering, signing up for. And if tomorrow doesn't work, because I realize it's not convenient for everyone, get on there and, find a location that does work and a time that does work for you. Because people of all ages involved in accidents, burn victims, heart surgery patients, organ transplant patients, cancer patients, they rely on these blood banks. The hospitals rely on these blood banks to be able to help their patients. So you can literally save a life. And I know it sounds so cliche, but it's true, and it's also beneficial for you. So, and you can Google just the benefits of donating blood once a year. So even for your own health, it's actually good. And it takes an hour of your time. It takes an hour out of your day once, I think maybe every 6 months to a year, you can actually donate. I'm not 100% sure on that, but it doesn't take a lot of time. And you get some snacks and some coffee and some rest time.
That's right. Just a little bit of effort and a little bit of time out of your day can make a big difference in helping out so many people with just a little bit of blood. And I want to understand, because this is just it's a free event. You can just walk in and you can, you do have to sign up and you do have to register with the redcrossblood.org. Could you talk a little bit about that process?
So go redcrossblood.org, use our sponsor code WBP, and there are plenty of spots available. Every spot's going to make a difference, so please sign up. If you don't have access to get online, call 1-800-733-2767.
Great information to have right here at the ready. Zena Daly, the Community Relations Officer with the West Bloomfield Police Department, joining us on The Splash to talk about the Sergeant O'Rourke blood drive. And Zena, before I let you go, just a little more information, any more information you can provide on this event that the community would like to know about?
You basically got it. So it's going to be on 14 and Farmington in the Simsbury Plaza, the Connect Senior Center, 10 to 4 tomorrow. And you still have time to sign up.
All right. Very simple process. Thank you so much, Zena, for your time today. Once again, Community Relations Officer with the West Bloomfield Police Department for the Sergeant O'Rourke blood drive, Zena Daly. Thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you. Thanks.
Very important information and very important events just right outside your door. Blood drive, once again, September 20th, Friday, from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. at the Connect Senior Center. Just a little bit of effort can go a very long way. More events and more exciting opportunities all around the West Bloomfield area to talk about right after the break. Stay with us.
We'll be right back with The Splash Live.
Good nutrition can help make sure you have enough iron, calcium, and vitamin C in your body, which can make it harder for lead to enter your bloodstream. Help protect your family from the harmful effects of lead.
Watch West Bloomfield Lakers football all season long on 89.3 Lakes FM and Civic Center TV. Join Tyler Keefe and Matt Catoni each week for live, in-depth, and exclusive coverage before, during, and after the big game. It's your local high school football team on the road and in your backyard on your home for West Bloomfield Laker football, Civic Center TV, and 89.3 Lakes FM.
Hello, I'm Chief Mike Patton of the West Bloomfield Township Police Department. We're here to say congratulations to Civic Center TV on their 1 million YouTube views here in the community. We enjoy great partnership with Civic Center TV. They are one of our best community partners. I'm Chief Mike Patton. I'm proud to be one in a million.
And now, back to The Splash, live.
Live, local, social, it's The Splash Live on Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM. I'm your host, Jake Schaff, talking about all the biggest events happening right around the community. And if you want to continue to watch the action, you can check us out on our website, civiccentertv.com, or on Facebook or on YouTube to continue to see the action anywhere you go. And going into a lot of the other events around the community and a lot of the other things that maybe people aren't really aware of, including innovative photography at a local photo business. Some very innovative techniques with Height Photo and the Print Refinery. A lot of great stuff to get into. And joining us right now on The Splash is the owner of Height Photo, Tom Height. Tom, thank you so much for joining us today. And I want to ask you, how have you seen the photography industry change over the years, and how have you adapted to these changes?
Well, yes, thank you. It's been a long ride, and this technology changes like monthly. My grandfather started it way back in 1924. We're celebrating our 100th year this year. We've got an open house coming up on October 19th, and everyone's invited to come up and win some prizes and get a behind-the-scenes tour of exactly what we do here. And there's light refreshments and stuff like that. It's a quick, easy thing. But getting back to your question, yeah, the technology has massively changed. Everyone that's my age probably remembers back in the 80s and 90s when you shot film and you had to, drop it off and wait. And then 1 hour photo came out and wow, I can get it in an hour. And like all those things. It was kind of fun because you had to wait to see what you got. But now, of course, everybody's just shooting on their phone. And you get instant gratification, and people are sharing them differently and stuff like that. But printing is still something that's being done. People don't print out, every single thing they shoot, of course, because we shoot tons of stuff. But they do want to do something cool with like that one shot of the summer or the best shot of the trip or something like that. So printing and photography has exploded as to what you could do. I could offer you 10 years ago matte or glossy paper. Now you can print on glass and aluminum and fabric and canvas and wood and a whole bunch of different items. We have a really cool new printer called a Logo Jet. That's a UV printer. And it can print on anything, and then it uses a blue light like like dentists use to cure the product to whatever it's printed on. So it doesn't peel off or come off, and is extremely durable. We go to a convention every year to learn the new softwares and learn the new techniques and different papers and all the things that are out to keep up with it, so we can then give our customers all the new cool stuff that's going on.
Wow, all of this sounds so unique. I'm always so fascinated by a lot of these photography techniques. My mom worked in photography for many, many years, so I'd been exposed to a lot of these practices for quite a bit throughout my life. So it's always interesting to learn about some of these new innovative techniques like you guys are doing. And West Bloomfield and the surrounding communities have many photographers and artists. You can find them anywhere you look. How does Height Photo support the creative community, and what are some standout projects or collaborations that come to mind?
Well, what we do for the artists, and you're right, West Bloomfield has tons of awesome local artists and art shows and things like that. Well, artists, it's a great thing, fun thing about this job. We get to see people's art because they'll bring it in. They don't want to sell their piece that they've spent 3 months or 4 months or longer on making. So we digitize that piece so they have a digital file of it. and then they can output it on anything they want. They can output it on watercolor paper again, or canvas, or whatever they want, and sell the copies and keep their original. So we have a lot of artists that come in with their artwork. We do what's called a digital copy negative. We actually shoot it in our studio with the lights at a 45-degree angle so you don't get any glare. And then you get an extremely high resolution digital file of your work. And that just opens the door for anything. You can, put it up on a stock photography site and sell your work. You can print it again if you've got an art show coming up. Or it just preserves it in case, gosh forbid, you had a flood or a fire or something like that. You don't lose the, all that time you spent.
Wow, great stuff everywhere you look. Tom Hite joins us, owner of Hite Photo and the Print Refinery, right here on The Splash, to talk about innovative photography right at his local photo business. And it's not just photography that you guys cover, Tom, because you're also working with something that's called VHS. I'm just kidding. I know what VHS is. VHS and 8mm videos that are being turned into digital formats. How have you seen the demand for preserving home videos change over the years, and what do customers in Greater West Bloomfield appreciate most about this service?
The archiving and restoration is one of our main revenue streams. We do a ton of it because it's crucial to everybody's family history. And when COVID hit, people had time to go through their boxes and dig stuff out and things like that. And we found that people were coming in with all kinds of things after that to preserve their family's history. And you mentioned VHS and videotape. We do just about anything you can dig out of the basement, and we do it here in the store. So the thing that I would say the customers appreciate the most about our service is it's done here. There's lots of places that offer this kind of stuff, but they outlab it. And some places even outlab it out of the country. And it's no, I'm not sending my stuff out, and nothing wrong with other countries, but I would like it to at least remain in the country. So knowing where it is and being able to call somebody on our phone and talk to somebody about it, and having the 40 plus years of experience of dealing with all this stuff really makes people comfortable about it. Of all the things we do, slides, prints, negatives, videotape, and movie film, the videotape goes bad first, because if you think about videotape, it's so thin and it's basically little rust particles, adhered to that plastic. And as it ages, the adhesive wears off and the little bits flake off, and you get snowy picture and garbled sound. So we always tell people, hey, if you have anything good on tape still, get that in first. The other stuff is longer lasting. And another thing, there's been a couple breakthroughs in the technology. The scanners keep getting better and faster. Like the print scanners used to have to flatbed scan everything. Same with slides. Very time consuming and tedious and expensive. Well, now we have these new Kodak scanners that you can just put the prints through, and they just zip right through in a second. And the quality is excellent. And the slide scanner we just got was, they gutted an old Kodak slide projector and put the scanning stuff down in there, but it still uses the trays. So people drop off their trays, we put it on the top and press a button and walk away. It drops each slide down, scans it, pops it up, goes to the next one. So that's become automated. And slide scans have come down from $4 or $5, $6 a slide down to about 50 cents a slide. So now people can bring in their big trays, and they're finding all kinds of fun stuff from the 60s and 70s and 80s, and remember that car, and there's that couch we had, and it's just a time capsule. And then what people then do after that, the sharing has gotten really easy. You can just upload it to your cloud service, which most people already have from their phone. Like if you have an iPhone, you have iPhoto, or Google has, I think, unlimited capacity for $2 a month. And you just save it there, and then you can share it to the rest of your family for free. You don't have to make up 10 DVDs or flash drives and give them to everybody physically. You just give them access. So yeah, it's really exciting, and people find all kinds of treasures. And then you find these images that no one knows exist, and you spin them into a gift. You make a crazy photo mug or a tumbler or something for the wall or whatever, and surprise people on their birthdays or holidays with this unknown image that no one knows about, and it just makes a killer personalized gift item,
Absolutely. And Tom, all of this is so great. I could ask you so many more questions about this, but we are running short on time. I do want to thank you so much for your time today. Tom Hite with the Hite Photo and the Print Refinery. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Well, thank you. It was my pleasure.
So much innovation and so many great practices to see with Hite Photo, who I should mention was established back in 1924, which means this business is 100 years old, which is incredible to see how much they've grown over the years and to how well they've adapted to the trends and how they've continued to expand their business. So big congratulations to Hite Photo for all their success, and a big thank you to Tom Hite for his time on The Splash today. But now looking ahead to a lot of the big stuff over this weekend. One of the big things is Lakers football. The West Bloomfield Lakers are looking to bounce back in week 4 at home versus Southfield A&T. Obviously, last couple weeks have been away games, and both of those have been losses for the Lakers. So a lot of good energy, a lot of positive vibes going into this game, hoping to bounce back. Laker football play-by-play announcer Tyler Kieft had a chance to speak to the head coach of the Lakers about the homecoming rivalry game coming up this Friday.
Big game coming up for the Lakers this week, back at home, and it's a game that's always kind of marked on the calendar for these players every year, going up against Southfield A&T. Let's just start with that. What does this matchup mean to the team in terms of those relationships they've built over the years?
Yeah, a lot of our guys played at some point youth football together with a lot of their guys, so there's always a lot of emotion, there's always a lot of pride at stake, and what I just finished telling them is, like, you're always going to get their best shot. Like, I don't care what they look like, what their seasons look like, you're always going to get their best shot.
It's a bit of a historical lesson, too, because you're coming in. It's the first time you've seen the Warriors since that semifinal game last fall. A little bit of heartbreak, maybe a little bit of revenge on the mind coming into this week?
Yeah, we hope so. I mean, they had a lot of seniors last year. It's a new coaching staff, but it's the same colors and the same jerseys, and they're still who, took away what we had last year and what we really wanted. So we got to take some sort of pride in that and really focus on getting the job done.
Yeah, maybe a new coaching staff with Coach Marshall having moved on to Birmingham Brother Rice, but Coach McKenzie comes in, a lot of football experience himself, a Super Bowl winner as a football player in the NFL. What does the Warriors team look like in 2024 from your first evaluation?
Well, they are pretty strong on the offensive, defensive lines, which I guess isn't surprising. They had some good players there last year that returned, and that's where Coach McKenzie's, I guess, expertise is. And they're always going to have some good team speed. We know that. From that point forward, I really just think we're more inwardly focused on doing what we have to do to keep getting better and get the results we want.
Coming into this week, you're going up against a team, same record, 1-2 overall, a little bit of a different story. They've really struggled on the offensive end, but in some ways, throughout these 3 weeks, you've seen those shows of brilliance. So how do you keep your team focused then on not taking their foot off the gas, seeing the results from those first 3 games and knowing the kind of talent you have in all 3 phases?
Well, I guess our results so far don't let us take our foot off the gas. You can think whatever you want, but we're 1-2 and they're 1-2, and if we don't get the job done, we're in a pretty big hole. So it's really like the onus is on us to turn this thing around and get it figured out. And like I said, you are going to get their best shot.
Zach Hilber's with me, head coach of the West Bloomfield Lakers. Here on This Week in Laker Football, we'll have full coverage of the game. Homecoming Friday night at West Bloomfield High School, 7 o'clock kickoff right here on Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM. You talk about that Warriors team, a lot of players moving on, having graduated last year, but they're bringing back some of those really key guys that had great games late in playoff time, especially on the defensive side. Kenneth Brooks, one of those key players, another one in Jordan Melton. Those linebackers can really cause some problems, even for a strong front like you have in West Bloomfield. So how do you match up with that coming into this week, especially with the lessons you've learned from the physicality of Groves and Adams?
Well, Zaya, you got to take them out of their game. I think, Groves and Adams both have really good linebackers themselves that'll come up and hit you when you let them. So we really kind of keyed them and made sure they weren't going to disrupt our game too much. In a lot of ways, we did a good job. Just all it took was a few plays here and there, and at least last week where Adams' middle linebacker could really change a drive with a big play. So it's really just about continuing the focus and making sure that we don't have those one or two plays that make a difference.
As you've said, as you've evaluated your team's performance last week and as we've previewed this week's game with Southfield A&T, how important are these 48 minutes in focusing in on the rest of the season with a really tough OAA Red schedule coming up over the next several weeks?
Yeah, I mean, with the OAA Red schedule, then the crossovers, and finishing with Roseville, who's won a few games themselves, it's not getting easier. We know it's going to be a challenge no matter what. So yeah, I would say it's imperative that we get out and at least have a good showing, protect our home turf and our home field.
Other than, of course, picking up a win, more points than the other team on Friday night, what are some of the other keys you're hoping to take away from and be celebrating in that locker room come the end of those 48 minutes on Friday?
I guess just to go back from recapping last week, it's just finishing drives as the offense and getting off the field as a defense. We had several times where we did 98% of the job correctly, but the 2% would kill us. And maybe that's a little metaphorical and hyperbolical, but the point still stands. Like, we were so close, and sometimes the margins between winning and losing are razor thin, and we just got to get on the other side of that razor.
Juan Esper, another player coming into this week from Southfield A&T. You'll hear that name a lot on Friday night, a 500-yard receiver. We talked about that linebacker talent. On the defensive side, this game's going to be won in all three phases with the Lakers executing on high command Friday night. Coach, thank you so much.
Of course, thank you.
It's going to be a tough road ahead for the West Bloomfield Lakers, but I think they might be up to the task. It's going to be a great game this weekend against the Southfield A&T Warriors on Friday night at West Bloomfield High School. Live coverage is going to be right here on Civic Center TV around 6:45 with kickoff at 7 p.m. with color commentating by Tyler Kieft and Matt Catoni. Very exciting game. Hope to see you there. But even more exciting stuff is going to be happening all around the community in the next few weeks, including a very great chance to learn some skills in business and leadership. So mark your calendars, because the Greater West Bloomfield Chamber of Commerce has set the date for its 2024 Leadership Luncheon. Headlined again this year by Fox 2 News evening anchor Roop Raj and Crane Communications President and CEO KC Crane. And the date is set for Friday, October 11th at 11 a.m. at the Wabeek Country Club. $65 to attend for chamber members, $75 for non-members. You have to register by September 30th. And if you want to learn more information about this event, you can go to the West Bloomfield Chamber of Commerce, westbloomfieldchamber.com or Facebook at West Bloomfield CC to learn some more information. But a lot of great opportunities with this event, and a lot of great chances to maybe help get young people started and maybe give them some advice with some resumes, help them out with jobs, and just give them the skills they need to get out there and tackle the world like they absolutely can. So a lot to look forward to on the 11th. And then on the other side of things, West Bloomfield School District's Global Equity Team presents an event to develop young readers in our community. And that event is Caregiver University, which is for K-5 parents and caregivers. That is set for October 23rd, 2024 at the West Bloomfield High School's I-Center room. That is going to be from 6 to 7 p.m. It's dedicated to raising joyful readers. Dinner and childcare will be provided, and a chance for everyone to learn about creating an inclusive culture of reading and how to inspire your family to become lifelong readers. And RSV is going to be by Friday, October 11th, 2024. And if you want to learn more, you can go to Facebook at West Bloomfield Schools to find out more information. But great chance for parents to get out there and to hopefully get some much needed information to help get their kids on the right path for education. And then more dates to add to your calendar for later this fall, this time at the West Bloomfield Library. The Friends of the West Bloomfield Township Public Library will host their fall used book sale the weekend of November 22nd to the 24th at the main library. And Friday, November 22nd from 7 to 9 is a preview sale. Only for the members of the Friends organization, but you can still get in by joining the Friends of the Library right at the door. And Saturday the 23rd from 9 to 5 and Sunday, November 24th from 12 noon to 3 is open to the public, plus a special sale where you can get a bag full of books for just $5. For more information, search Friends of the West Bloomfield Township Public Library on Facebook or go to the library's website at wblib.org. But that is all for us today here at The Splash Live. I've been your host, Jake Schaff. Big shout out to Tyler Keith and Kevin McIntosh at Master Control. We'll see you soon. Live, local, social. It's The Splash Live on Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM.